So in terms of financial crime, the general theme is that, certainly in this jurisdiction, is that more and more obligations are being put on companies to prevent or mitigate financial crime in certain defined areas. We've seen this with the Bribery Act, such that a company can be held liable criminally for failing to prevent bribery. We've seen it with tax evasion, where companies can be held liable for tax evasion, not by them themselves, but by other companies with which they operate. And most recently, we've seen under the new Act, the responsibility for fraud. So where fraud is committed by an employee of a company, the company can be held criminally liable by failing to prevent fraud. So that is a theme, the theme being that more and more obligations are being placed on companies, and failure to comply with those obligations can result in criminal proceedings. Because certain companies in certain circumstances may be held strictly liable, it's important for them to really understand what the consequences are. Insofar as a company is found criminally liable, that will have implications in the broad reputational sense for it. Nobody likes to see one of their counterparties being found criminally liable, and indeed counterparties at the compliance level will always have concerns in those particular circumstances, which may restrict the ability to trade in the future. So how should clients react to this theme? The importance for clients is, as I've said, paramount. That requires them to put in place appropriate measures which can mitigate to the fullest extent the risks of being found strictly liable for these criminal offences. That requires them not only to understand the nature of the obligations, but also to have an infrastructure within their organisation that is able to monitor and take actions to prevent those violations from occurring. One of the most important aspects is onboarding of clients. Knowing your client is a hugely important exercise. It's not just about regulatory compliance here, it's about commercial risk. The more you know your client, the less likely it is that you're going to find yourselves the victim of a fraud. If there's anything untoward, it has to be addressed. If it can't be addressed, it would be a bar on dealing with that client.